Hi, welcome back to iForge with Coach Winehouse. I'm Coach Winehouse. We are going through the Outside Impacts Analytic Tool Framework, which I borrow from Professor Stephen Kaplan at Booth, University of Chicago. We're on O for opportunity and the acronym IMPACTS underneath to describe the opportunity. We're on the final session for S for speed. I want to go through this sort of misconception that a lot of people have about speed. Speed cuts both ways. And then investors generally will push for something faster, and we'll get into why. So first, what are the misconceptions about speed? So I have to be first. That's one of the misconceptions about speed. You don't have to be first. It's not the most necessary thing in the world that you're the first one to the market or that you invent something. It might be great for your ego to be, I'm the first to do this, I'm the first to do that. Not necessary, though, to execute properly. Nonetheless, when you see an opportunity and you see someone else doing it, there is some speed to compete with someone else. So speed becomes more important actually if you're not first. But you have an advantage when you're not first. And one of those advantages is you get to see the mistakes other people are making. You get to improve on it and learn from their investment. So speed is a double-edged sword. Being first means you spend more and you get out in front. And on the other side, it means you don't have the advantage of being the first one in, but you do have the advantage of learning from other people's mistakes. And you can see things they probably can't or have a harder time seeing than you do as an outsider. But as an insider and someone who has moved, you have data. So data, as long as you react to your data internally, you can be as nimble. So you just work through where you are in the market on being first or not first, and that's an important misconception. The other strategic area that speed matters in a lot is in if you're relying on the network effect. So there are companies that have been first or have been biggest, and they have not acted with great speed to really take advantage of a network effect, and they've really missed an opportunity and allowed someone else to get in bigger and better. So you see the social networks are probably the most common example of networking effects, but when I was in school, we didn't really have social networks. We had a lot of communication networks. AOL Instant Messenger was almost ubiquitous for the world, but based on their strategy and their acquisition with Time Warner, it just sort of got left. It didn't get as pushed as fast as maybe it should have from a strategic standpoint. That wasn't necessarily a startup's issue, though. So a startup in a networking business, your speed to market is going to matter a lot, because the minute you get competed away or someone bigger comes in, it can spread faster and there's a network effect. They're going to be able to stomp on you. So speed in some cases is highly crucial. But there's another reason, and maybe more important than investors are really thinking about with speed, which is this sort of how quickly can this be implemented. And first I want to take the approach, a selfish approach from the entrepreneur standpoint. Many of my students most of my students are MBAs at top universities, and they are offered six-figure jobs right out of school, and this is an opportunity cost. So when you give up that salary to go start your own business, when you give that up, you're taking out a big chunk of your life to go invest in this business. And the fact of the matter is you should want to find out fast. You should want to find out very quickly how big you can make it. And you should want to make it very big very quickly, because your opportunity cost is actually quite high. So that's you and your time. We had one of my guest speakers come in and help coach some of the students who had all proposed business plans, which in 5 years, and maybe there were 4 MBAs working on it, had a P&L of $1 million a year after 5 years. And these were products goods. They weren't new media companies or networks or things that extract value over long periods of time with massive numbers of users. These were products with margin, and he very politely worked them backwards on how much P&L they were going to be producing per person 5 years from now, and how much more they would be worth if they just worked. And he walked them through the work for someone else. Now, not everyone does this for money, and I talk about that a lot, where passion is payoff. But ultimately, investors want to know that there's big money in it. If they see that you have better opportunities financially somewhere else, they're a little concerned that you're not going to stick around if your passion slows down or something. And there's not a lot of P&L to pay in new people either. So it becomes a risk factor for them. So then from the investor's standpoint, they want their money to grow fast and grow big so they can exit and get their money out. And we'll talk about the exit as the very last item in the outside acronym. So, how quickly, the speed of how quickly this can be implemented is very much of calculating their return on their capital, not just in terms of absolute numbers, but in terms of calculating return over time. If they can make a bigger amount quickly, they want to know, can this be implemented quickly, or is this going to take forever? This plays out a lot in some things can't be done quickly, drug testing, things like that. Other things can, and they want to know what levers there are, and are you communicating those levers? So think through speed as a positive thing to be fast about, so your investors can get make money quickly and get their money out quickly. Probably faster than most of you ever have thought about ramping up your own business, other than on a spreadsheet. So thinking through operationally, this can be one of those elements where if you think about the investors' mindset, you should be able to start pushing yourself to think like they think, because you can make a bigger plan and start planning operationally for it. So thank you very much for finishing out the impacts part, the O of outside, and I look forward to seeing you in other sessions.